Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
Guru Scouting MMA back once again for UFC Vegas 35. Oh, no. And now we don't know if we can edit it. So now we have a problem.
uh oh,
Yeah. Shit. I guess I'll just start over.
yeah,
Back
uh,
again. Yeah. Back again for UFC Vegas 35 with Gigachikaze versus Edson Barboza, your featherweight main event, with also the tough finale between Brian Battle and Gilbert Urbina, Ricky Tercios and Brady Heidstad to figure out who will be the winners for season 29. I heard a lot of flack online that nobody really liked this season. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm just easy to please.
yeah. I thought it was enjoyable. Maybe there was a little bit of a lack of like that extra drama around the edges. I know Volkanovski and Ortega had some of their shit talking going back and forth, but maybe like some of those physical confrontations and all that stuff that you're used to seeing in the past. I totally feel you on that.
I
But
really think that the show itself could steal a couple pointers from like Survivor or something and like have a little bit more of like the game show aspect to it. Like have them do random challenges or something. I know obviously it's mostly it's a training MMA show where you go to fight after and there's like a lot of fighting in those like whatever it is that 2 months that they're in the house. But I don't know, maybe like some more quote unquote entertainment value. It just feels like a lot of ESPN filler for a lot of it. It's like it's just a contender series now on some level.
yeah, I don't disagree. I think you do have it right in that regard. I think with ESPN doing more of the production, and it's obviously different from a lot of the Ultimate Fighters that we've seen in the past. I remember, I mean, I haven't watched many myself. When we watched that first episode together, I didn't think much of it, but you were like, whoa, 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 like this is like kind of totally different from how they used to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Really was a super different show. I still liked it. They had some good fighters, some good fights, some good personalities. Ricky Tercios, how could anybody hate that man? And he's the funniest guy.
He's so much fun, dude. And I think that there have been a lot of personalities that we've come to really enjoy. And now that like I feel like social media has become like super prevalent recently, especially. It's been fun trying to go and follow these guys now and see what they're up to. And now that we've gotten to the finale episode, which is kind of a regular fight night at this point. Yeah, I guess a lot has changed for the Ultimate Fighter, but I'm pretty excited to break down this card. I feel like with a lot of the Ultimate Fighter fights near the top, we have a lot of prelim fights that are super juicy here, huh?
Definitely some interesting spots. So I'm definitely looking forward to breaking them down.
Definitely. So let's get right down to it. We're gonna hop right in. We got kicking off the card. We got Mano Martinez versus Guido Canetti. And you're seeing here now, we're giving you a little bit of a visual effect here. We're bringing up UFC stats, something that it's probably one of the biggest things that we enjoy using when we're researching for fights and taking a look at like the details of how stuff happened from striking numbers, grappling. Yeah, so we're excited to share some of that with you. So you'll be able to see a little bit of the height and reach as we go along if you're following along on YouTube here. Mano Martinez is making his UFC debut versus Guido Canetti, who he's had a little bit of experience, one fighting in the UFC and two getting finished in the UFC, suffering four losses, one by knockout, three by submission, and his two wins have come by decision. But really not against the best of names. So it seems like they're setting up Martinez in his debut fight. What are you thinking here?
There were a lot of interesting things that kind of came out in this fight. Most of which on the Guido side or the Guido side, I forget how to pronounce his name. Um, Decent amount of layoff, right? He hasn't fought since before COVID. That Adesanya Romero card, where like you said, he got finished in the first round by Danal Bakariel. He's a Dana White Contender Series Mana Martinez, I should say, is a Dana White Contender Series loser. He lost to Draco Rodriguez, who we just saw again lose a week or two ago. He looked pretty not great to Vince Morales. Um, Mana had followed up that Dana White Contender Series loss with two round one 1-minute knockouts to get himself this shot back in the UFC. Um, so you kind of would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more time, like to really continue to hone in his skills to show what he's been fixing. But I mean, you're taking out the trash. I mean, you gotta do the job. So he did the damn thing, and he earned himself a shot here. Um, One of the things I found interesting about Guido is obviously, again, his long layoff. He's 41 years old. He seems to throw everything into his strikes, smashing leg kicks. He keeps his hands super low, which is how he got stunned by Bakariel in the first place. And I didn't get to do as much tape on him as I wanted to, but like I watched the Hugo Viana fight, which was his first UFC win. Really weird situation for Guida, because he was the Latin American Ultimate Fighter person, lost lost both of his season fights, and then got a third fight in the finale and lost that fight too, and somehow ended up with a fourth fight, which he won by unanimous decision. But it was a really close fight. And then when I went and looked at MMAdecisions.com, 53% gave the decision the other way, and the media members are split evenly. So I don't really know. It's just a weird fight, and he won that fight as a plus 450 underdog. So he's got somewhat of a history of like whatever pulling off the crazy upset as a huge underdog, but at 41 years old, I don't know. I probably just really took the scenic route to end up exactly where you are. I think that Mano should and could get the knockout here. But
You would imagine he could get the finish, right? I mean, all of his wins in his career, Martinez, have come by knockout.
yeah,
And Canetti, he does have that knockout loss to Bakariel, but I will say he got cracked a whole bunch of times in that fight. There were at least 3 or 4 times where Bakariel connects on like a cross or like a hook, and you're just like, oh, is that? And he stays on his feet. And Canetti actually lands a few hard leg kicks. He lands a couple good shots of his own, and it makes me think that like maybe we're sleeping a little bit on Canetti here because he does have the experience. And Martinez, he, he showed a lot of inexperience getting triangle choked on Contender Series. He had a lot of ways to get out of that and just locked himself in, picked up Draco, held him there, didn't really know what to do.
he didn't slam him, he didn't shake him. It was a really
No.
weird situation.
It made me feel uncomfortable with his fight IQ. So,
Agreed.
I mean, I really don't think that, when you're looking at this fight and damn, I mean, it really seems like if anything, I would want to put a bet on Canetti as the underdog, just on like principle of like a guy making his debut. You're right, like plus 225. But
we talk about that, but
stay away.
There's no value in a losing ticket.
I completely agree.
What I think I do like, I mean, they have Mano Martinez by KO at plus 100, so that is kind of interesting, and because I feel like by fight day that will not be, it'll be minus money. It won't be plus anymore.
I agree with
and
that.
then, yeah, you know what? That's interesting. Because then my other thought was betting the fight not to go the distance or whatever, which is chalked up at minus 210. So,
I think you're right either way, essentially. I mean, realistically, we're looking at a knockout for Mano Martinez. It's just like, can he stay composed and show that, he has that sick left hook that he's gotten a bunch of knockouts with on the regional scene. And he landed on Draco early. He just has to stick to the game plan and not let Canetti overwhelm him. He has a 4-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. So Martinez should have all the tools he needs physically to make this happen. But I don't trust him enough to make him a parlay piece or even really want to bet him heavy. But if you're going to do anything, I totally agree that knockout for him at plus money. Yeah, if there's anything to fire away on, a little play on that would be something.
yeah, that, or not that Martinez has any wins by sub. I have no idea what his jiu-jitsu credentials are. But if you wanted to be crazy, you could just take Martinez by finish at minus 140. Because obviously this guy is prone to being subbed. You'd hate to see some weird club and sub situation, or he gets his first career win by sub. Although you did see some of his jiu-jitsu in the Draco fight, where obviously he was an idiot and got triangle choke, but he I don't know. He had showed some aspect of knowing what he was doing before that point. I really think that whole performance was like nerves for him. Like
I agree.
he was getting tagged by Draco to start off the striking. It was just weird. He was like trying to psych himself into it. I felt. I don't know. A lot of talking about this fight. We should probably move on.
I agree. Let's get on to one that is between a couple of pretty good up and coming prospects here. You got a featherweight bout between Jamal Emmers and Pat Sabatini. Sabatini just recently made his debut over Tristan Connolly, grinding out a decision win where the third round, was a little bit sketchy there. And Jamal Emmers, he's shown in his UFC career that he's not afraid to go the decision. And with 8 decision wins in his career, out of 18 total fights, that shows that this is a guy that might not pack the biggest finishing ability. Because on the regional scene, you really like to see a guy get a lot more finishes. And it might tell you Emmers has some good cardio. You could trust him to, go the distance and not completely gas out. And he comes in a 2-inch height advantage, 4-inch reach advantage. So you would hope, Emmers here, he does have some good output. And his striking accuracy is very good compared to what his opponents land. He's at 6% better. So I do think that Emmers should be able to use his height and reach to kind of keep Sabatini at distance. And he does have the wrestling chops to deal with Sabatini should he try to go there, at least make it difficult, not let the initial entry happen. And Sabatini showed that he will gas out. He works through it, but it's something to keep an eye on, I'd say.
I agree. This fight is got Sketch City written all over it. I think the best bet is a chalky fight to go the distance at minus 215. I really do think that this fight does go the distance. What fight was I watching? It was the Jamal Emmers Vince Cachero fight. I mean, Jamal Emmers lands 103 strikes. He's for 52% accuracy. Great. It was a nice performance. Vince Cachero looked like he was fighting, with the boppers. Remember those bopper? You know what I'm talking
That's
about?
right. Yeah, sock and boppers. Yeah.
Sock and bop. Like that's how he looked. Although them shits hurt. Like you used to get like concussion from your friends using those things.
Bro, it was more fun than a pillow fight.
Exactly, it wasn't more. But all right. So my point is that Vince Cachero looked like he'd been getting punched by the Bopham Sockers by Jamal Emmers. Like he had no damage on him at all. And talk about gassing out in that third round, like Vince Cachero was starting to stuff takedowns and cage fight, fight against a cage and start trying to reverse position. Like both of these guys kind of gas out in the third, as you saw Pat Sabatini drop that third round to Tristan Connolly after looking, whatever it was, almost like 10 minutes of control time for the first few rounds.
Yeah. I'd love to point out, so if you guys are following along, I just pulled up here the round by round breakdown of striking, and that's the only round that Cachero stuffed takedowns, like you said, 2 out of 4 for Emmers, whereas he went 3 for 3 in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, a lot of lay and pray, it looks like.
Yeah, listen, I just don't think Emmers' offensive wrestling, which he seems to use a lot of at 2.9 takedowns average for 15, I don't know that he's going to be able to use it versus Pat. I don't know that you want to lay on top of Pat because Pat has such an active guard. I remember studying that from watching his, leading up to his debut versus Tristan Connolly. He has such an active guard. So you don't want to just lay on top of him. I do think that the wrestling is going to negate here. And I think it's going to stand like a mostly striking battle. And, we do know that Emmers has the physical tools with the 4-inch reach advantage and the 2-inch height advantage, like you said. But I'm just not convinced. I'm very apprehensive on both sides. I came in wanting to play the dog, short side dog at plus 130 there, but I don't think I can do it. So unless I see something at weigh-ins or something really jumps out at me over the next couple days, I think the only bet is the fight to go the distance.
I like that. I feel like we started talking about these bets where they give you a few different options when you start looking at on DraftKings they started offering like split or majority decision, and I could totally see this just being a little bit of a sketchy like do you trust the I feel like Sabatini's going to try to force his grappling more than Emmers will. If I had to take a guess about the game plan, just to make up for his height and reach disadvantage. So in that case, like I do think Emmers is, going to be held at times. How do the judges see it? Maybe a split decision plus 550 for Emmers to keep it light, because I don't have a huge play on this fight, but I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, one of the things that I personally find interesting, the lines are very close, right? 160 plus 130, right? That's a close line. But
Yeah.
you look at, and again, the Vegas says at minus 210, minus 215 that this fight is going the distance, right? So we're all on the same page.
Mm.
Jamal Emmers by points plus 120. Pat Sabatini by points plus 280. That's a
Mm.
major, major, major discrepancy in a
Wow.
fight that we're thinking that both guys are going to be hanging around in there.
It's always interesting when you break down the line like that. I really like that because, and actually, you get a little more value on DraftKings plus 130 for Emmers by decision. If you just do that, maybe don't even mess around with the stupid split decision idea. I really like the way you looked into that because I just think Emmers is going to land more volume in this fight and ultimately take a decision.
Yeah, he should be able to. Pat Sabatini is, I think he's an unbelievable prospect. Obviously, I think they both are on some level. So that's why this matchup is super interesting.
I agree. Well, let's move on to the next one. We got a short notice debut here and moving up a weight class. So first off, you got JJ Aldrich. She was originally scheduled for this week, and here comes Vanessa Demopoulos making her debut
My girl.
coming up. That's it. Off her loss on Contender Series to Corey McKenna. And now she gets to kind of show what she was working with. I think she was the favorite on that Contender Series fight, right?
That's a good question. Let's see. What did it say? It says she was a slight favorite versus Corey McKenna, which is a tough fight, looking back now.
Right.
Um,
And
wh-
I think it was super tough to, be put in here on short notice. I think the biggest thing when you take a look here is that Aldrich is 3 inches taller and has an 8-inch reach advantage.
mm,
And Aldrich has like a Taekwondo background, so she's got like pretty decent striking. In fact, if you remember, was actually hurting Macy Barber early before she turned it around on her. So it's like JJ Aldrich, you gotta figure like she just went the distance with Courtney Casey and won a tough split decision. You gotta figure that she's going to be able to handle Demopoulos making a short notice debut, moving up weight, right? That's my thought off the top.
yeah, I really like Vanessa Demopoulos. I'm really happy for her that she gets the call up. That LFA women's division. You know what I'm saying? Like that, a lot of good girls come out of there. That and Invicta. She had that after losing the Dana White Contender Series fight. She had that absolute fucking war with Lupita Godinez. That she lost the majority decision to lose her LFA championship. Um, that fight was fucking nuts. But again, Lupita Godinez has not really had a good showing of herself since that win that she over Demopoulos that got her into the UFC. She had that really weird split decision loss to Jessica Penne, and now she's booked to fight Sam Hughes in October.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, weird. Yeah, listen, what's the line? The line? No, I don't know. You can't. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
That's exactly it. That's
Absolutely not.
exactly it.
You cannot. You can't. Even with your grandma's money, you cannot play JJ Aldridge at minus 375. That's bonkers. It's
Yeah.
just JJ Aldridge by points at minus 170. I'm sorry. Are we talking about JJ Aldridge or are we talking about Kayla Harrison? Like what are we betting here? Like it's just nuts.
Yeah. If there was anything I would do on this fight,
And I didn't
it's
get to watch. I didn't get to rewatch the Casey fight, so I don't even like that split decision. What did MMA decision say? Like, what did it actually look like? Like, wasn't it
yeah,
like
I think
trying to
Casey was
sketch?
yeah, Casey was hurting her on the feet a little bit, and Aldrich landed 4 takedowns and had like 5 or 6 minutes of control. So it just ended up being that Aldrich was able to like steal a couple rounds on scorecards by initiating the wrestling, where Courtney Casey still at this point in her career hasn't figured out how to stuff a takedown.
Just so we're clear, TB, I just pulled up MMA decisions. One MMA media member gave it to Aldridge. Everybody else gave it to Casey.
Yeah, I remember having money on Casey and being very disappointed.
I think I was on Aldridge and pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it from the stats, as you see here, just looking at that part of it, Casey threw a lot more strikes, and Aldrich landed nearly the same amount from a significant standpoint, but at a much higher percentage. And she has nearly 6 minutes of control. I could see why the judges might have been swayed, but I remember watching live and thinking I was very upset that Casey just couldn't stuff the takedown at the opportune time because she was hurting her on the feet for sure. So does Demopoulos, does Aldrich rely on her grappling against Demopoulos? I really don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would be the right path to victory because she's going to be the smaller fighter.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And Vanessa Demopoulos is a heavy strike. Like I follow her on Instagram. Like she's just so excited to be headed to the UFC. Like was opening up her bag today, just like so happy and so excited and so ready for this challenge. And she's just gonna come in like it's like who's gonna want it more. And I have a hard time betting against Demopoulos. Like again, you're giving me Aldridge at maybe. How about you give me Aldridge at minus 170 instead of Aldridge by decision at minus 170, and we'll talk about it. But
I agree. I think this is a big adjustment to like the Sajara Eubanks fight where she was actually like a black belt jiu-jitsu and like a big time wrestler, but that's not the same case with Aldrich. I just think that she's opportune with it. So I don't. If you're going to do anything crazy, do like Aldrich by finish because you're getting like plus 400 for a knockout. If you think she's really going to overwhelm her and just
be really crazy and stay away from this fight.
Yeah, no, ultimately though, I'm not betting this fight. So let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So next one, we got a light heavyweight fight here. Dustin Jacoby versus Darren Stewart. And Stewart now in his second appearance at light heavyweight, made his last one on short notice against Eric Anders. And, now he's coming in against Dustin Jacoby, who hasn't shown, the most impressive performances except against Justin Ledet. I mean, his win against Maxim Grishin, by the stats, he got dropped 2 times in that fight. And Grishin also was able to control him, grapple him, and damn, man, I know Jacoby's, he's 3 inches taller. He's going to have a couple inches of reach here, but there's just something about him that really, really doesn't make me feel comfortable playing him as a minus 170 favorite against a guy that really could go out there and put the grappling pressure on.
And let me put it to you this way. Maybe this is the worst way to handicap fights ever. There's no way 4 fucking favorites are winning to start this card. I don't know why. I don't. Somebody's gonna lose. One of them's gonna, whether it's JJ Aldridge, you know what I mean? Like somebody's gonna drop the ball, and it could very well be kind of like how we expected Chase Sherman, quote unquote, to win last week. It's like that. This seems like that kind of fight. You think somebody has the advantage so much somewhere with Justin Jacoby and his kickboxing, and then all of a sudden you get Darren Stewart, who's maybe not as tired, maybe from a weight cut, maybe feels better, and then all of a sudden uses his wrestling, his 1.56 takedowns, and starts laying on top. It's really not that much, honestly. 41% takedown accuracy, basically 3 strikes landed per minute to Jacoby's 4. Darren Stewart's nearly 10% less accurate with his defense, his striking defense, and that's a major problem versus Jacoby.
It just makes me nervous. Like if I were to ask you, how do you see Dustin Jacoby winning this fight? You can kind of play out a clear path to victory in your head, right? Like distance striking, calf kicks, setting up his kickboxing, stuffing the takedowns early and getting out of the clinch. But Darren Stewart, okay, so what's your path to victory for him?
Yeah, lay and pray, wrestling, I guess. He's not going to outstrike anybody.
Yeah, that's the thing is like even against, a little bit of lower level of competition, you see Stewart having a tough time really being able to outpace someone from distance. I mean, really in all of his UFC fights, The only ones where he's really outlanded somebody significantly were one against Duran Win, two against Edmund Shabazian, which is actually super interesting because you remember how heavily Shabazian gassed, and then like Eric Spicely. So he really hasn't shown that he can beat someone from distance consistently. So you're relying on Darren Stewart to show you a level of control and takedowns that he hasn't really consistently shown in the past.
And an
So
extra 20 pounds, even if you're less drained from the weight cut, it's just more weight. Like, I don't know how his cardio is going to hold up.
I agree. And yeah, I really do think that it's probably the best idea to not go with the underdog here. In fact, I think what I would like to do for this fight, uh, the over 2.5 is -160, and Dustin Jacoby to win by decision is +165. So take whichever one you like a little bit better. I think Jacoby by decision.
I don't know. I maybe I'm just like gun shy, gun scared. Like maybe I'm just a pussy. How about will the fight go the distance? Yes, at -136. You don't have
Hmm.
to play it. You don't have to play a side. You can just kind of
-136. That's
just
solid.
count the rounds.
I like that because Stewart's got a great chin.
Yeah. Listen, you want to talk chalk? How about you just over 2 rounds? Fight to start round 3 at -215.
Hmm.
You can just parlay that to something light. Like if you love somebody, like you could parlay that to like whatever you love JJ Aldridge. You could parlay that to JJ Aldridge for +1. Like not that that's what you want to fucking do, but
Right, but
maybe JJ
that's
Aldridge your favorite fighter. Like like I mean, you do that, you literally, I mean, you're almost at plus money there. That's at -117.
hmm. Yeah, I guess overall, yeah, this still isn't one of the fights where I have my strongest plays, but I do really like it to go the distance. So let's get along to our next fight here. We got an old friend, Sam Alvey, making his return against Wellington Turman, who I guess is the prodigy. Let me just put it this way: I really don't think he's that impressive.
Boom roasted.
Yeah, boom. Wellington Turman allows opponents to land at a 57% clip while his defense is while his accuracy is 42%. That's fucking terrible. That that's 15% less efficient than his opponent's striking. And he's giving up 3 inches of height and 3 inches of reach and 2 inches of height against a southpaw striker in Sam Alvey. That this guy could really put it on you if you can't finish him early. He's going to make it a grind. He's going to make it difficult. And you're telling me I get that guy at +110 and Wellington Turman, the prodigy, is at -130? I think it should at least be even money. So are you with me here on a dog shot?
Yes, it's dog or pass. Wellington Turman doesn't deserve anything. He deserves nothing. He should be like +150 to like fighting you. I don't even. No, that's disrespectful. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Listen, Wellington Turman, you would
And we
knock
all
me out
like
in
to
10
joke.
seconds.
Yes. Listen, we like to joke, but these guys are professional athletes and they give it their all. Wellington Turman is only 25. So as much as we like to poop on him a little bit, like this is his 5th UFC fight at only 25 years old. So it could very well be his last UFC fight, but it is his 5th one. I don't really like Sam Alvey here, but I just think that Sam Alvey is due for a win. Like he's fought. I don't know. I was gonna say tough competition, but that would be a bold-faced lie. He's fought
Solid competition.
better competition than Wellington Turman has faced. And if we just go based on the last couple fights, he had that really tough draw with Daun Jun. At his last time at light heavyweight. And then everybody was gawking over him how good he looked on the scale at middleweight versus Julian Marquez until Marquez was able kind of like to weather the storm a little bit and sunk in that choke. Wellington Turman is like not his last submission win was not in the UFC, and even on the the amateurs, not the amateur, the regional scene, he was getting a lot of decision wins. So I don't know. I think this fight goes the distance, and I think Sam Alvey might be the only play.
I agree with you, man. Plus 110. Give it to me. If you feel like you don't want to take a side here, fight not to go the distance, minus 165. I feel like that's kind of a good idea, just given that Turman has shown that he could be finished. Alvey has shown that he could be finished. And if either guy gets to put on his pace, Turman with the grappling or Alvey with the striking, one of them probably finds a finish in their realm. I think it's Sam Alvey. And I'd rather just play the money line since they're giving me plus 110. It's as simple as that. Simple as that for me.
I listen again, and maybe I'm crazy. I don't think any. When was the last time Sam Alvey's last fight got finished by Julian Marquez? But otherwise, he's a decision machine, unless he's getting knocked out by Jimmy Crute or Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Like he literally decision. I think that why won't this fight go the distance? Who gets a finish here?
I think Alvey could definitely knock him out.
Really?
I think Andrew Sanchez knocked out Wellington Turman, and that should tell you all you need to know.
Why? I mean, that's such a huge knock on Andrew Sanchez. He's not the worst.
He's not the worst like wrestler, but he's not a power puncher. Like I think that's one of his only career knockouts, especially a standing KO. It was like a straight right down the middle and boom.
Just so we're clear, he has 7 career pro knockouts. Andrew Sanchez, who's not on this card, and his only 2 losses in the UFC. Actually his only 3 losses in the UFC. Fine. He gets 4. That's on the ultimate. He has 4 losses in the UFC. Mahak Muradov, who's really good, who we'll
get there
covering today. Marvin Vittori, he lost him by decision. Ryan James, a 3rd round knockout, and Anthony Smith. Anthony Lionheart Smith. So, Andrew Sanchez, is he going to be fighting for the title? No. But I wouldn't call him like some sort of trash can.
Yeah. All right. So, don't listen to me on the prop on this fight, but if you want to listen to me, we'll go with the side here on Sam Alvey.
I like Sam Alvey. Are we calling him our dog of the day?
No.
All right.
No, he's not. I'll say that he's definitely not my dog of the day, just in the sense that like I'm not putting my normal dog of the day type of bet on him because he is Sam Alvey still at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like he's not like that guy that you're like, I don't know. Maybe because especially later on this card, the type of guy that you think might be like your dog of the day type of potential, that line's kind of flipped for me. So, I guess by default, this might technically be the dog of the day.
Yeah, I was looking at the other fights. Like there's nobody that I feel that confident about. And
I mean, you're right.
I like this fight to go the distance at plus 106. Maybe I'll be an idiot when one of these guys turns the other one's lights off, but I just think that they're gonna settle in. Neither of these guys push the pace. Neither of these guys are dangerous strikers. And both of them are like know what's at stake, like in terms of their careers. So I just think that they kind of like lots of lots of tension and for them and it was just an interesting thought. Like I was listening to somebody else talk about the main event for last week, and it's like when these fighters know that they're going to be setting up, especially based on the matchup you have, like when you're settling in, like you just kind of like you settle in, like you prepare to settle in. And I think that these guys will like kind of settle in for a 15-minute fight. Maybe again, that could be it's fucking Wellington Turman will turn his lights off in this first round and will be the dumbest people ever.
No, I actually don't. I agree with the sentiment there. It makes more sense when you put it that way, and I really don't feel as confident on like the prop at this point. I would say like I said, if anything, but I think that's probably our dog of the day. But this isn't one of those ones I'm recommending you throw like a bunch of units on. Just
like that Michael Chiesa dog of the day. That really good one that we really like there. Our best unit. Just bet your house on this one, Skater.
Hey, listen, we all make mistakes, right? So let's move on to our next fight here. This is also another short notice booking thrown together last second, huh? Alessio di Shirico versus Abdul Razak Al-Hasan. Both of these guys were kind of scheduled to face grapplers, and now it should be a striker's delay, right? Um, I think
Striker's
this one could be
Delight?
fun.
Striker's Delight, are you sure about that? Striker's
Yeah.
Delight?
Well,
Delight?
okay. All right. Maybe not the light, but it should be a fight on the feet, right? I guess the way I see this going is Al-Hasan is kind of back against the wall in this scenario. But Shirico, I mean, this guy doesn't get knocked out. He faced, Joaquin Buckley, showed that, he was the one landing the head kick knockout. Shirico has only lost in his career 1 submission and 4 decisions. So Al-Hasan, a guy that has only ever won by round 1 knockout, yeah, I mean, you can always land a knockout with 4-ounce gloves in MMA. That's certainly possible. But as far as being like a betting man in this scenario, I can totally see why they have Shirico as the favorite, right? Minus 240, maybe that's a little crazy. But as far as a method,
he doesn't deserve minus 235. But like you're saying, unless he gets the freak knockout, I don't know what's there for him.
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at it, kind of the way that you would fight to go the distance, yes. Plus 110,
112, or plus 112 on FanDuel.
On FanDuel,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was looking at. Kind of stupidly, I felt again.
No, but I mean, at that point, you might as well say Shirico by decision plus 165.
Yeah.
Al-Hasan is not winning a decision, right? So when we come back next week and Al-Hasan won a decision,
right,
then fuck us, right? But
he's not only is he going to win a decision, he's going to win a decision using his wrestling, his 0.5 takedown average at 28%. That's what he's going to use to win this fight. We're calling it now.
That's it. So
just call him Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak Usman.
Yes, that's it, man. And that decision prep, plus 650 and Shirico plus 165. So it really just shows you, like, they're saying that this fight is a 2-outcome fight. Either Shirico wins decision plus 165, or Al-Hasan by knockout is plus 350.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why is that plus? It's plus 310 on FanDuel. That makes me uncomfortable. That's like, it's too high.
That's his only method of victory. You have to hedge with that, right?
Yeah, you have to put a tiny sprinkle.
Or stay away. I mean, listen, I'm not betting a money line in this fight.
And I'm not betting the fight to go the distance anymore either, because that dude's a tank.
Yeah.
And listen, we're knocking Al-Hasan, but like, okay, so he lost to Munir Lazez, who, like, that was like his hometown fight, right? Like, that was a big deal for Munir. That put him on the map. Then he came out and looked terrible after that, Munir. Chaos Williams, he got absolutely bombed by Chaos Williams. No shame in that. And then, the enigma that is Jacob Malkoun. We had no idea. It was one of those fighters that we warn about. Like, you look so bad in your debut that you can't possibly look any worse. So he actually comes out and uses his wrestling because he's a wrestler. And Jacob Malkoun makes Al-Hasan gas, and he wins like a solid decision. Like, Al-Hasan wasn't even in the fight for a second. So
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't.
So now the line is overreacting to that. Alessio is not going to have the wrestling to keep Al-Hasan at bay, and at 3 strikes, he's throwing less strikes per minute. The one thing that is interesting about Chirico is his 62% striking defense, but I don't know. He hasn't really fought any fantastic strikers. Who has he fought that's actually an accurate striker?
I guess
who there is for their striking? Joaquin Buckley? Not really.
No. Okay, so he faced Muradov, lost by decision.
Right.
He faced Kevin Holland, lost by
Right.
decision.
Those are the
And
two fights.
he also faced Julian Marquez. Now, what I'm seeing here that's kind of interesting is he's actually not afraid to use his wrestling a little bit. 4 takedowns against Marquez on the Ultimate Fighter finale. Then he has 2 takedowns against Holland, in a loss. But is that not something he might have seen on the scouting report? And actually might be looking to use that.
You have to if you're gonna be fighting this guy. You can't. You're gonna just sit there and try to box this guy. He's got
That's
dynamite.
what he wants you to do. Huh.
Right.
So you know what? I think that the more we flesh this out, the clearer it is that this is a complete stay away from me. I
Yeah.
can see it on both sides, and there's no reason for me to play a go the distance and see a first round knockout, or play a first round knockout and watch Shirico win an easy decision with his wrestling. Like, there's 2 ways this fight can go, and I think it's probably equally likely. So if you're going to say that Al-Hasan knockout plus 350, and that's your prop, all right, you take a little sprinkle. But I think I'll just stay away.
I'm waiting to see if something else happens. Let me see Al-Hasan look terrible at weigh-ins or do Chirico look all drawn out. Let's see what's up.
I agree with that. And let's see what's up with this next fight. Is this the biggest spread on the betting line on the card, or is it the next fight after that? I mean, holy shit, Mahmoud Muradov versus Gerald Mearshart, GM3. Let's get into some stats here. I think we actually have like a decent sample size on both these guys. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Muradov's striking is just high level. He allows his opponents to land at 36%, and he lands at 42%. So he's outlanding at a decent clip, but at the same time, because he's throwing much more output, he's landing 5 strikes to his opponent's 3. And that's extremely solid. And then you look at, obviously he's not really a wrestler, but it shows 100% takedown defense so far in the UFC. But yeah, I don't know if he's truly been tested in that regard, but I also don't know if Gerald Mearshart is necessarily the guy to test it. That's going to be the game plan, right? I mean, if anything, Mearshart at plus 385, you need to get Muradov in the clinch here and get a takedown. You need to start going for the neck. That's your path to victory if you're Mearshart, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I can't take. I mean, it's one of those fights, right? It's like Muradov is either going to look like a minus 4,000 or he's going to make you regret parlaying him in every single one of your bets. So, I don't know. Like who is Muradov fight that is really going to try to take him down? Who is Muradov fight that's like a jiu-jitsu guy like Gerald Mearshart is?
Yeah, we'll
Nobody.
say like Andrew Sanchez went 0 for 2 on takedowns and only had 22 seconds of control in a fight that went into the 3rd round. So I really do think that Muradov is extremely good at maintaining his distance, using his footwork, and really just being solid all around as far as like defensively, being safe. So I feel like the narrative specifically in this fight that I'm trying to fade here is that Mearshart is 1, chinny, and 2, that Muradov is a knockout artist. Whereas actually, if you look at Muradov, both of his knockouts in the UFC have come in the 3rd round. And yeah, I just feel like he is someone that's gone the distance 5 times in his career, and going into the 3rd round twice in the UFC. So Mearshart, he has lost 3 knockouts, 1 submission, 2 decisions. He's absolutely not beyond getting starched.
No.
But Muradov, I do think takes his time in that regard and really reads his opponent. So if there's going to be like a value play, maybe you don't do like go the distance or anything like that. But if you could say like Muradov and over 1.5 is plus 120.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just that's a good way to get it to plus money.
I mean, if you want to be real crazy, I mean, like a little bit of what I was thinking is because, like, if you look at the methods, knockout is minus 175. That's so fucking sketchy.
Yeah,
Muradov by decision is plus 330.
yeah.
I feel like if there's anything, I'll do Muradov in the over 1.5 and Muradov by decision, both plus money. If
But
that, if
bro,
I
he
feel
got
great.
knocked out by Ian Heinich in 1 minute. An
I do
overhand
think,
right to ground and pound.
right. Well, Heinisch came out and threw some heavy leg kicks immediately, just made Mearshart absolutely, completely discombobulated. And yeah, I do think that Mearshart did go through it a little bit in a couple fights in a row. Heinisch, and then you have Shemaev, and
Right, but then he gets lucky versus Fabinski, who we all know didn't know how to. We were just talking about how that was one of your sub plays of the day because we know that
that's true.
Fabinski, all he does is get subbed, and
Well,
he
that's
got
why
subbed.
I don't like Mearshart to win this at all. That's not
Yeah,
that's not my thought.
and you know what? And you can't. You're right. This is that. You're right. That's the. But the problem. What's Muradov in over half? Like over half a round. I can't. I don't trust it to go into deep into the second round. I get.
I mean, you're really not crazy for saying that, but it's minus 280. So you cut it in half.
Yeah, but no, I'm not
But
playing
I
that.
mean, yeah, I mean, realistically, you should have played this when he was like minus 300 at open or whatever, if
Yeah,
you wanted
well,
to like parlay him out. But it's like, I'm willing to just be like, all right, they're showcasing Muradov, trying to get him closer to being a ranked fighter at this point, and maybe Mearshart has something to say about that, but that's not where I'm going with it.
no,
That's really not where I'm going with it.
can't. We love a good value play, but no, not
Yeah,
here.
and I just don't think Gerald has the offensive wrestling to take advantage of it because Muradov's footwork will keep him safe. That's my opinion.
He should listen. He should have the fight IQ. He should come in focus. This should be a softball for him.
Yeah.
They really do like Muradov, right? He's the Floyd Mayweather guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. The money team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go.
I, very interesting, by the way, how that goes. But yeah, so that is pretty straight up for me in that regard. I mean, I'm definitely picking Muradov to win here, but yeah, find your value the best way you can and be safe about it because it could get real sketchy. In the first of our three Ultimate Fighter matchups, this one not really for any marbles. We have Andre Petrovsky versus Michael Gilmore, and Gilmore made a short notice appearance on the show, correct?
Yes, he did.
So now you got to imagine this is a full training camp at this point, or at least he's on even standing with Petrovsky as far as getting ready for the fight.
Yeah, listen, they were training together in the tough gym for as long as Gilmore was in the house. Maybe what is it? Probably about half the time.
Yeah. So I thought, like Petrovsky was like the hot name on the show, and what we learned from him on the show is that one, the way he responds to adversity isn't the best. He takes a knee in the clinch and he starts saying it was a headbutt and calling out some bullshit, and they look at the replay and it's a fucking knee. You know, like that's some gamesmanship right there. That's interesting. And then he gasses out and then shoots lazily to a single and gives up his neck to a guy that's really not known as a grappler coming into the Ultimate Fighter. So, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But so, yeah, Petrovsky really let down Team Ortega there as the number one pick. And now they're giving him like this little softball lob, like, hey, this other guy was on the Ultimate Fighter too. And, he got, what was it, a submission or a knockout that happened early, but he got grapple fucked, right? And then, so Petrovsky, yes, that is his path to victory. And, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. He has 3 knockouts, 2 submissions, but it's grappling based. So Gilmore, he has 3 submission losses on his record. So, just doing the quick MMA math, all right, Petrovsky by submission at plus 110. But Petrovsky by knockout at plus 225 isn't really far fetched if he gets like a top control position. But if this fight gets out of the first round, all bets are off. I mean, we're talking about a young, inexperienced fighter, and Petrovsky has a knockout loss on his record before he came on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, but it was to Aaron Jeffrey, who's an unbelievable prospect. After winning that LFA fight, which was the headlining fight for that card, Aaron Jeffrey then goes on to headline for CFFC versus Colin Huckbody, and he wins that fight as well. And now we're gonna see him next week on the Contender Series versus KO Borrallo. So keep your eye out for Aaron Jeffrey next week. I'm telling you, this kid is a fucking stud.
Yeah, I mean, so realistically, it's Petrovsky by sub, right? That's
Yeah.
what we're looking at. I mean,
Yeah,
plus
listen,
110.
what I saw from Gilmore, man, and again, it wasn't much because I didn't do much deep tape on him. I was so unimpressed by his performance on the Ultimate Fighter. I know he only had a couple days to get warmed up or whatever, but like, geez, it was not pretty. Um, so they're giving him another chance here to redeem himself after he did them a favor. So I respect that, but uh, yeah, Petrovsky. He got caught, gassed out. It's a tough situation. He's the more dominant fighter. He should win.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I mean, seems it seems that one's pretty
Yeah,
simple
but
to
but
break
like
down, right?
but listen. Simply put, and again, this is probably the most boring part of the show on some level. Like we've said it a million times, though. Does this dude deserve -600? God fucking no. Doesn't matter. He could win it by knockout in the first second. He could beat Jorge Masvidal's record for quickest knockout. Like it doesn't matter. He doesn't. It's not warranted here. So you can't play it.
Totally agree, man. And I'll be honest with you, I'm staying away from all three of the Ultimate Fighter fights. So we
Oh,
will talk about
I'm
them.
definitely not.
Yeah, I just yeah, it's really tough for me to find a good spot on them.
I
But
disagree.
well, we'll get into it more because there are a few leanings I have. Anyway, before we get to those, how about
The
another
best fight of the
crazy
night.
matchup? Yeah, this
Fight of
is
the
it,
night.
right?
Fight of the night.
This is the one I've been looking forward to right
I'm
here. I
just
mean, when I saw this got booked, holy shit.
listen with some of the fucking Augusto Sakai headlining fucking fights that we've had. This fight should be a headliner.
Yeah, dude. So Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Lee going back up to welterweight, and yeah, I mean this one could get real interesting. I think this is a style based matchup here. Rodriguez is an incredible boxer, and he does have some jujitsu and stuff in his back pocket, but he's not looking to use that offensively. He's looking to box you up, kickbox you. I mean, he's so impressive. His defense, high level, but I will say he hasn't been beyond obviously getting clipped. Like we saw him get dropped and nearly get knocked out in that that fight where Tonyoni kind of let him go a little longer, and then Dwight Grant then he gets knocked down and knocked out. So but the thing about Daniel Rodriguez, I even see in the Preston Parsons fight that, Rodriguez, did get caught like a little bit early, but he has the fortitude to get through it. And that's what's impressive about Rodriguez, great cardio and a really tough guy and someone that's willing to put out the output. Kevin Lee, big time wrestler. I mean, 3 takedowns per 15 minutes, 3.21, 43% accuracy. That's elite. You really can't put it any other way. And when he faces a guy like Gregor Gillespie, who can match that wrestling, what does he do? He throws some combos and lands a head kick knockout. Super impressive. Kevin Lee is so talented, but Guru, if there's anyone that could tell you about Kevin Lee, I know it's you. So
I fucking hate Kevin Lee. Listen, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'd love to get a beer with him or something. Talk. Not that he wants to grab a beer with me. I've never liked Kevin Lee. He's always underachieved. He's bounces around, man. I never can pick his fights right. Um, I think I took him over Charles Oliveira, was wrong. Took Gregor Gillespie over him, was wrong. Took Rafael Dos Anjos over him, was wrong. So whatever I guess I pick in this fight, just fade me, I guess. Um,
so what do you got, Guru? I need to know.
Listen, I'm very concerned about the weight still going up the extra 15 pounds for Kevin Lee. I think it could be very, very much be a problem for him. He's got suspect cardio, suspect fight IQ, or mental fortitude, whichever you want to call it. It's hard to trust him to grapple fuck D-Rod like he should, because he's a hothead, because he'll get into a striking battle, because he'll fall in love with his hands, because he'll have a bad weight cut and get knocked. Like I don't, bro. Like it's just you never know what you're fucking getting from Kevin Lee, and now he's got that ridiculous head tattoo after a long layoff, after crazy surgeries, after scheduling to fight Sean Brady twice, totally different matchup. You're supposed to fight a smaller guy. Now you're fighting a much bigger guy. You were going to fight like a wrestler grappler. Now you're fighting a kickboxer boxer. Like it's so different. It's weird fucking fight, man. Kevin Lee at his best should smother D-Rod. Kevin Lee on the ball should be able to get inside, put him against the clinch, take him down, pound him down, and even get a submission, like rear naked choke in the second round. Like he should be able to manhandle D-Rod based on experience, based on skill, based on everything that you should have, all the intangibles. The problem is that we never know which Kevin Lee is showing up to fight. And what we do know about D-Rod is that motherfucker shows up to fucking fight, and he should be 6-0 in the UFC. He did not lose to Nicholas Dalby, even though the judges said he did. And yeah, man. I mean, he's had an unbelievable start to his UFC career. I guess it should be 7-0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's 6. This is a 7th fight. So I begrudgingly take Kevin Lee as the slight favorite.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Kevin Lee's not coming off the surgeries and if Kevin Lee doesn't have, that bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, Kevin Lee is minus 200 going into this fight in my mind.
And again, bad taste in the mouth, He just lost to the fucking sitting champion last year. What are we like? Bad taste in the mouth. The dude's the lightweight GOAT, right? I mean, he's got the belt. He's going to be fighting fucking Poirier for the belt. Like,
yeah.
Like, the dude's a fucking savage.
Yeah, and listen, Kevin Lee, for all the things you could say about him, I said
plenty.
Yeah, said plenty, but he does look good early in his fights. That's generally the trend is he looks good early.
That's true.
Then he loses in round 3 against Oliveira. He loses in round 4 against RDA. He loses a decision to Iaquinta. How many times has this guy been scheduled for a 5-round fight? You know what I mean? Like, he's been there.
Oh, wow.
Kevin Lee is 11-6 in the UFC. And he's 6 years younger than Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Lee, smash. That's my play of the day. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, no, we're smashing that. You know what's actually crazy? Now that you even mentioned that, what the fuck? This is crazy. Holy shit, I didn't realize that. Why is nobody talking about that? You want to talk about something?
Talk to me.
Wait, what? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not Gregor Gillespie, but 6. 6 of his last 7 fights were main events, 5-round fights.
Boom. Like, he's been here before, bro. This is a huge step down. I love D-Rod. Daniel Rodriguez is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Favorite, like, guys, like, talking about his mushroom kicks. Like, he's great, cool, man. Like, Daniel Rodriguez, he's the man. This is a big step up. If he wins this fight, I want to see D-Rod moving way up the rankings. I want to see him getting some big opportunities, man. Dude,
if he beats Kevin Lee, he's renegotiating his contract. He's getting a fight of the night bonus. He's getting Abdelaziz is, signing him, and it's about to be a whole fucking thing. The UFC will be the D-Rod show if he wins, but I don't think he will.
Kevin Lee minus 150. Book it. Let's go.
Gotta take it. And what would this fight be if, like you said, if maybe we weren't getting some bad taste in the Kevin Lee mouth? He should probably be a minus 200. You should be paying some sort of premium on him, and we should be trying to make the point to be taking D-Rod at a good plus money price. Instead, we're looking at Kevin Lee as too slight of a favorite. So
I agree, man.
What's minus 150? What is that an inherent value of? Like 60%? Less than 60%?
Yeah, I mean, minus 150 as I use my Rockstar Z odds mug over here. Minus 150 is 60%. So yeah, you're right.
Wow,
it's about
genius.
Look at you.
Yeah. So it's 60%. 6 out of 10 times. He's got 60 out of 100 times. He's got to win this fight. 65 times out of 100, I think he could win it. 70 out of 100, I think. Sure. How many times is D-Rod going to knock out Kevin Lee if they fight 10 times? Maybe twice.
I agree, man. So yeah, let's do it. Kevin Lee. I don't know how I got you talked into this.
Yeah.
But,
Probably our play of the day. No, like is he not our best bet?
I mean,
I have maybe one other best bet for the main event, but not a side.
try something out here for our YouTube followers. We're gonna add a quick little banner here. Just a little play of the day across the bottom. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
We got a play of the day, huh?
Shout out StreamYard for the different features.
Yeah, we're having some fun here. We're learning tonight because let me tell you, this is a new experience, having some fun. But if you guys have anything in the comment section on YouTube, you want to let us know something you want to see,
Yeah,
maybe
make
I
sure
could
you're
show you
liking the
something.
videos.
Yeah, give us a like, subscribe, like let us know how we're doing. We want to cater the show to you guys. You're the listeners. If you don't want to see UFC stats and you want to see their Tapology pages, let me know. I mean, I could load up whatever here, but I like seeing the stats myself. But hey, you guys are the ones listening. Let me know. Tell us in the comments. Let's get on to our next fight, huh? This is our first of the Ultimate Fighter finale fights. We have it in the bantamweight division to start. We always do our lighter weights first. We got Pretty Ricky Tercios versus Bam Bam Brady Highstant, and this one should be a fun fight. These guys match up extremely well in size. Brady
His,
is a lot younger, though,
his
right?
nickname is not Pretty Ricky.
I mean, that's what they say here on UFC. I'm totally wrong about that, right?
Yeah, it's Hadouken.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe that means
Oh,
pretty in a different language, but I don't
no,
know.
not at all. That's like the Dragon Ball Z shit, right?
Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. I don't watch
Ah,
Dragon Ball Z. Everybody, sorry.
you're good.
I
Not
was
neither
I
did
was a
I.
Pokemon guy.
Say, but all right. So I mean, just from watching the show and
I like
seeing how they
Brady.
fight. Oh, really?
Yes. Maybe listen, maybe I was too impressed by Brady's first performance. Dude, I like fucking Brady, man. Brady has
Hmm.
like again, I need to rewatch it and make sure. And again, maybe I'm overhyping this kid, but I saw decent striking, solid cardio, great heart, grit, and near like I don't want to say elite level because look who he's fighting, but like I mean, like right, Andre Petrovsky was the wrestler. To me, Brady just as good of a wrestler. I see him crashing forward, not letting Ricky Tercios continue to walk around and get shots off and be
Hmm.
unorthodox. You have to get in close to Ricky, push him up against the cage, dump him down, put him on his ass. What is he gonna do?
Hmm.
You've seen Brady's unbelievable wrestling and ground and pound and relentlessness right in that third round with Joshua Reddinghouse, who's probably one of the better fighters on that show. I mean, Reddinghouse has an unbelievable tapology. Um, I don't know. I was so shocked to see that Brady was the underdog, and I thought maybe it was because Ricky's a fan favorite. But dude, did you Ricky is getting clipped in both of those fights. Both wars fought two great guys, but I'm not sold. And again, I love Ricky. I'd love to see him win. I think he still goes in the UFC even if he doesn't win this fight. But
Hmm.
uh, I don't
That,
know. I'm on Brady.
that's actually super interesting because I was kind of feeling like at least one of the underdogs out of the Ultimate Fighter are going to win, and I will say I do kind of I like Brady's like whole mindset and everything, and
That's his mindset, how he sounds about the show, just his whole demeanor. Way 22 years old has the professionalism of a 32-year-old. I mean, he
hmm.
just I was really impressed. And again, it could mean nothing. Maybe I'm taking way too much stock against this fight versus Josh Reddinghouse. But man, I was really impressed. Because his second fight was not as good as that Reddinghouse fight.
Right.
Like it wasn't as impressive, I don't believe. I don't
Well,
remember who
well,
he fought.
it was over Vince Murdoch, right? And he
Right.
had an MCL injury, and he just kind of like crumpled.
Right. And
So
he actually finished Vince too.
yeah, but it was like, but it was because Vince was hurt. So like that's
Yeah, but
kind of why I was like,
Vince was also hurt going into the fight.
right, right. That's what I'm saying. So it was like weird because we knew about it ahead of time, and then you see it happen. You're like that's how he made it to the
I
finale, like.
yeah,
But
listen.
Ricky also had like a
Oh,
really
that's how he
tough
made it to
fight.
the finale. How about Gilbert Urbina? How about how he made it to the finale? No
Yeah.
Trey Sean Gore. But seriously, um, Yeah, I love Ricky. I was really happy to see him win both fights. Love his personality. Honestly, wouldn't even be mad to see him win. But his dancing, striking, that is not even like that powerful.
Mm,
I don't see it. I actually right like he was Brady was tagging Reddinghouse like he had
yeah,
Reddinghouse hurt.
I agree. And,
I like
and
Brady.
Ricky has shown, that he doesn't have the best striking defense. He's been knocked out
Bro,
by Mano Martinez, actually.
did you see him on the last episode face off against Brady? His face was fucking like
Yeah.
he just got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
His
You
face
know
was
what?
pulverized in.
Fuck it. Is that our dog of the day?
I was just thinking to myself that I'm
Boom. Hit it.
for
Dog
some
of the day. There it is.
for,
Boom. Let's go.
for some reason I almost feel like more confident in Brady than Sam Alvey
No,
because
I do. I do. That's why I just hit it, bro. I said I wasn't going to bet on any of these fights, and you just got me to hit a dog of the day button.
wow.
Look at that. Brady Highstant, dog of the day, huh?
I do. I think he's gonna win it, man. And at 22, he's gonna be somebody that the UFC fans can get really excited about and say that you know what the season was actually worth it.
Co-main event time.
Let's get it.
Brian Battle. Pooh Bear. That's his actual nickname, right?
Yeah.
And then Gilbert Urbina. I don't even fuck with that nickname. Who knows what that is? But anyways, Battle comes in. He's got a 4-inch height advantage on paper here. He earned his way to the finale. Urbina lost to Trayshawn Gore and gets his opportunity off injury. Brian Battle showed really good striking to me, good distance control, and not the best takedown defense. However, he has a really good get-up game, and he's persistent, and he can fight the hands from his, if he gives up his back. And while he's not, great defensively, he shows that he could work out of it and survive and really overcome adversity. So I really do think that Battle probably has the goods to win this fight. I'm just not going to lay chalk on a Contender Series guy. I'm sorry, on the Ultimate Fighter guy.
I really like Brian Battle in this spot. I was really impressed with the work that he did and displayed throughout the entire show. I honestly was probably going to pick him over Trayshawn Gore as well. I think that this might be this might end up being a more difficult fight for him for Battle because Urbina had such a weird outlook when he was fighting Trayshawn Gore, man. He's like, oh, well, he has a family. Like he like had his. It was really weird. Wait, not Trayshawn Gore. Who did he fight? No, it was Gore. Right?
Urbina?
Yeah, the last episode.
Urbina lost to Gore, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, right.
Yeah.
That's on that last episode, he's talking about how he really it was too much friendship stuff. He's cooking him a meal before they fight. Listen, I'm not a fighter. I don't know these things. I just think that it's really hard to turn on, turn off that switch. I think a lot of the times they're friends and they really do root for each other, and it's hard to go out there and snatch your dreams against, and steal it from somebody else. And one thing we did know about Trayshawn is that boy was hungry to keep winning. I mean, he didn't give a fuck about anyone or anything but winning the competition. So I definitely really felt for him that he tore his ACL and won't be fighting. But to get to the fight that we are talking about, I think Urbina will kind of change his head for this opportunity. I think he'll come in ready to rock. I just really like what Battle has shown. He seems super well-rounded, great size for the division. I do like Brian Battle here. I don't know that he gets the finish per se, but he should win.
Yeah, I you know what? I actually totally agree with you. I like Battle a lot.
Battle by decision at plus 210. Fight to go the distance at minus 116. Yeah, I like Battle. I'll certainly be taking Battle. I don't know that I'll be betting. I don't know that I'm betting anything super crazy on these fights. There's a lot of interesting fights, a lot of weird spots. I'm really excited for this card in general. I think it's actually it's like a sleeper card. But
totally, man.
Not
Hey,
not a lot of strong spots.
I think we found a on our final fight of the night, the main event of the evening, I think we're bringing some heat for you guys as far as strong feelings here. And I think
Uh-oh.
it's a consensus play, huh? I normally we try not to talk about
Oh,
it,
I
but
have no idea. I have no idea what your consensus is.
uh-oh. All right, so here we go. We got Edson Barboza versus Gigachikaze. This is a striker's delight, right? Can we agree on that?
Oh yes.
Now, as you guys can see here, we're going to go through their stats real quick now that we're to the main event, just to like compare how sickeningly close almost all of these stats are. So for two guys that have had like pretty long UFC careers at this point, their average fight time is only 9 seconds apart. Their Barbosa's 1 inch shorter, but he has 1 inch more of reach, so that's negated. They're both orthodox, but they switch up their stances. So, you'll see them throw kicks from any angle. And we talk about Chikadze as this up and comer. He's only 2 years younger than Barboza. You look at their striking stats. Now, if we go away from their landed per minute, obviously there's some differences, but they both are 44% accuracy. And then Barboza's 59% defense and Chikadze's 60%. They're so similar. And really where Barboza stands out is he's, slightly more proficient in the grappling, but I don't see either guy really initiating it here unless they get hurt. And, maybe Barboza is the first one to think about that. But, man, are there any thoughts you have right off the top here before, before I really start saying what my side is?
Nothing really. Listen, it's a very exciting matchup. I can't wait to watch it. Want to see these guys face off. Want to see how they look. Felt like Edson was maybe a little too hittable in his last couple fights, especially that Burgos fight. The split decision losses to Ige and Felder aren't great. People argue both ways about that. Listen, I'm on Barboza just based on I think Giga is a little overrated and Barbosa's maybe being a little underrated. You get your lucky Giga kick versus Cub Swanson. All right. We were kind of expecting that fight to be a little bit more of a war, more interesting fight like this one's going to be. And then what did he do before that? He knocked out Jamie Simmons. Cool. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. And then before that, he was the guy with decisions over Omar Moraes and Erwin Rivera and a split decision versus Jamal Emmers and Brandon Davis. And we were wondering if he was really that good, when his first finish was going to come. What I will tell you is that while I lean Barboza, I am not betting this fight like that. What I do think, though, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we say that all the time, right? I like the under 4.5 here. I like the fight not to go the distance. I don't know why.
That's the consensus right there.
That's the play.
I love Edson Barboza in this spot. I mean, he might end up being one of my bigger plays because we talked about all those statistics, and then you just went through the resumes of who they've fought on the Chikadze side. Let's go to Edson Barboza real quick. Let's just run down the names, okay?
Yeah, right.
Now you go.
It's the who's who.
Yeah, you go down the early career, okay, maybe not. But then you got Donald Cerrone, Evan Dunham, Bobby Green, Michael Johnson, Paul Felder once, Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, Gilbert Melendez, Benil Dariush, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Kevin Lee, Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje, Paul Felder a second time, Dan Ige, Makwan Amirkhani. All right, that's a little step down. Then you got Shane Burgos, who he's a hell of a striker, man. And he got knocked out by Barboza, which even fucking Josh Emmett couldn't fully knock out Shane Burgos. So let's put it this way. The level of competition that Barboza has put up his statistics against is a much stiffer set than anything Chikadze has faced. And maybe he faced those guys on the kickboxing scene, whatever. But this is one of those fights where Barboza doesn't have to worry about the takedown threat. And you know what that means, that he's going to come out fucking firing. Yeah, that's what Barboza does.
That was the big problem versus Burgos, is that he was still worried about the takedown. That will not be a problem here.
Nope.
And Barboza by KO or by sub plus 230.
Yeah, man, give it to me. That's it. I mean, I really don't think this fight goes the distance. You've seen Chikadze struggle in the third round multiple times. He has a big weight cut. Barboza has a big weight cut as well, but we've seen this guy do it before. We've seen him go the distance and hold it the entire time. And when he doesn't have to worry about the takedowns and being defensive, he can really let her rip. So, in the Amir Khani fight where he gets taken down 3 times, he only throws 32 strikes in a decision. And then in the Burgos fight, he lands 98 strikes in a 3-round fight that doesn't even make it the distance. So it really goes to show me that Chikadze is not, he's not going to be the guy forcing the takedowns. Barboza is not going to have to worry about that. He can fire at will. And if anyone's going to initiate the offensive wrestling, it's going to be Barboza.
Yeah.
So I don't
That
think
does give him
Chikadze has the
something.
power,
Unless it's that liver punch. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Barboza knows how to dish out punishment to the body. Just ask Dan Hooker.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not my play of the day per se, but
One of
it'll
our
be,
best players.
yeah, it's going to be a solid play on Barboza. And if you guys want to see where we end up on our official picks, because for our pod, we did start a Bet MMA tips profile. So if you want to see our third party track picks, listen, we're not professionals. We're not the guys that are saying that we're going to make you blah, 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 and you have to pay for our picks. But like, if you want to know where we end up and what our best plays are, you can follow us over. It's Chronic Combat Conversations. You follow our link tree where you see the podcast or anything like that on our Twitter. Go check out what our final plays are. And you can see how we do every week after the fact. We're not going to waste your time breaking all of our plays down again right now, because before the fights start on Saturday, go take a look. You'll see them right there. So I hope you guys like this new format. We did try doing something a little new here. We hopped on StreamYard. So now it gives us a little bit more, screen sharing capabilities. Let us know in the comments, what you're thinking, if there's something that you'd rather see going forward. And yeah, Guru, why don't you take us away, man?
Take you down to Funky Town. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Please make sure you are following us on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel, like and comment to our videos. Give us that support that we love and appreciate so much. Make sure you check our link tree for all our various links. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you should be able to find us, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts. Um, while you're listening, liking, and subscribing, make sure you give us 5-star rating and some feedback. Please follow us on Twitter at Chronic Combat or on Instagram at Chronic Combat Conversations. You can follow my awesome co-host at TB Scouting MMA on Instagram, Twitter, Verdict, and Tapology. And you can find me at Guru Scouting MMA on Instagram, Twitter, Verdict, and Tapology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next week for Brunson versus Till.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Wow. What a fight. It was originally supposed to be in London and is now back at Vegas.
America.
Take care, everybody.